If you've been going to physical therapy in hopes of beating your chronic low back pain, and despite how many rounds of physical therapy you've done, you're still in pain and there's really no signs of it getting better, there's a reason for that. And today I want to talk about why physical therapy isn't working for you and why it may never work for you, so you can save your money, save your time, and focus somewhere else. Now, if you're new here, my name is William and I teach people just like you how to overcome years and years of chronic low back pain by mastering their mindset, improving their movements, and building smarter strength. So if that's you, you've come to the right place. Now, before we dive into this, there's two things I want to clarify. Number one, if you have any kind of L4, L5, or L5S1 disc injury, you've been cleared to exercise, you want to learn how to work on your own body, become your own self-healer, I've got a free sample movement and strength routine that you can try out. You can go to fitnessforbackpain.com/routine. I'm gonna give you the exercises to try, the reps, the sets, and how to modify these exercises to fit your specific needs right here, right now. Just go to fitnessforbackpain.com/routine and grab that. The second thing is take everything I say with a grain of salt. I'm not trying to bash physical therapists. I'm not trying to bash the medical model. These people are needed. These are great people changing people's lives, helping people get out of pain. So I don't want you to think, oh no, you need to stay away from the medical model. They're all snake oil salesmen. I'm not doing that at all. What I'm gonna do here is share my own personal experience through my own chronic pain journey, along with thousands of students that I have now worked with around the world who has shared a very similar experience going to PT for rounds and rounds and rounds, hoping to get relief from their pain, but not actually getting it and feeling like they have been let down by the medical model. So if that's you, listen up, sit back. I'm gonna explain a few things that might open your eyes to some opportunity where you can see some dramatic change in your relief strategy. The first thing I want you to keep in mind when it comes to physical therapy and being treated by a physical therapist is it is very much an acute injury mindset. When you go into a physical therapy clinic, you are going to get evaluated by a professional, someone who understands the body, injuries, they have gone to school for that. You're going to get a 15-minute, 20, 30-minute evaluation of your back pain. They're gonna chalk it up to weakness somewhere, maybe tight muscles, core strengthening that needs to be done. And then you're going to be handed off to a tech, someone who is gonna give you a print off of exercises that come from a very old book that is kind of outdated, and you're just gonna do those exercises by yourself or with someone standing over you staring at you like you're a weirdo. The issue is PT is really good at getting people back to life, getting people back to work. So let's say you fell at work, maybe you injured your knee, you had knee replacement, hip replacement, shoulder replacement, post-surgery, fusion. All of these things are really in need of a ground level rehabilitation factor. And this is where PT and physio really thrive. If you had total knee replacement, well, you've got to move, you have to rehab, you have to strengthen this joint again. And the best place to go to do that is PT, is physiotherapy. It's really good. Maybe you had a fusion and you have to go from the operating table back to work. Well, guess what? PT is really good at that. But what happens is when you step into the chronic pain category, so now you are years and years and years, 6 months or more into this chronic pain journey, these acute strategies to rehab yourself are not going to be what takes you across the finish line. And this really comes down to how complex chronic back pain becomes once you're at that point. It's not that you are doomed or you're broken or you're too far gone. It's not that at all. I proved that people can get out of pain time and time again through my Strength and Pain Relief Accelerator program. What you have to understand is that there's multiple levels to getting out of chronic pain, and simply PT exercises being done in 15-minute increments at the clinic is not going to be the thing that gets you out of pain. The second thing you want to consider is who you're with, right? Once you have your evaluation, you're going to be given off to a tech, and oftentimes these techs are just college students. Maybe it's someone who's doing some volunteer work and they want to get into some kind of health field where they're just being trained to make sure you are doing the print-offs that they were given. They're not really modifying, they're not really changing. Sure, you might find some techs out there who are awesome. My dad is in the industry. He's been in the industry his entire life. My father is a great person to have in your clinic, helping people. He's got the experience. He knows what to do. He is an outlier. There are a lot of techs in there who don't care about what you're doing. They care that they are getting paid. They care that you are following the 7 exercises they have on this little sheet. But at the end of the day, if you're having problems, their knowledge and understanding is very, very limited. So not only are you coming to a place where you are depending on very valuable information, step-by-step guidance or modifications or altering things to fit your unique pain profile, this tech is not going to do that. And unfortunately, you're not going to get the actual physical therapist who saw and did the evaluation every single time that you're in there, which reiterates the problem that we're dealing with when it comes to chronic low back pain relief. Is you can't just look at exercise. It's not just about movement. It's not just about weak glutes or a weak core or tight hip flexors. It's not just about that. And unfortunately, the PT clinics or the physiotherapy clinics are medical model based. They are focusing on the movement aspects, the movement elements of chronic pain. So if the movement things that they know do not fix you, they're not going to change the fact that they're using a movement-based approach to get you out of pain. They're gonna keep doing it until you either graduate out or they kick you out and say, hey, you know what? This is as far as we can take you. You gotta go find other options to get out of pain. And that's where you feel hopeless. After 7 rounds of PT, they're not going to be able to go into any further details or any further levels of what it actually takes to get out of chronic back pain. It's not because they don't want to. It's not because they're bad people. It's just not the education circle that they run in. They are focused on one thing they do really well, and that's rehabilitation through exercise. When it comes to chronic pain, it's a different category. It's not that you're broken. It's not that you're doomed. It's just you've got to go to the right source of content, of information to gain wisdom in this area to continue to heal, and you're just not going to get that in a clinic. Now I want to pause here really quick because I'm talking a lot about the medical model, right? The medical approach or the mechanical approach to chronic back pain. And when it comes to the medical model, it focuses heavily on exercise and movement, but there's actually more to beating chronic low back pain than just building a stronger core. I work with people all the time who are CrossFit athletes, who are bodybuilders, power lifters, police officers, people who use a lot of their body all the time, who are plenty strong to not have to live in chronic back pain. And what I do inside of my Strength and Pain Relief Accelerator program is go deeper, covering all elements of a chronic back pain recovery strategy. It's not just exercise. It's not just about how you fire your glutes or whether you have glute amnesia or whether you need to stretch your tight back away. That's not it. You need more information. You need more guidance in lowering the threat inside of your body, improving the way you move and how you look at movement as a healing agent, and then building strength back into a more of a resilient body so that you can actually do the things you want to do without triggering pain. Not just take away all the things in your life that you can't do now because pain is always there. That is a survival strategy. If you feel stuck, if you feel like, hey, you know what? You're right. I've been going to a PT. He or she is not helping me. They're great people, but I'm still in pain, and you want to find a different approach, go to fitnessforbackpain.com/apply. That'll give us an opportunity to have a live conversation around your unique situation. What I do is build a pain profile for you, and I map out exactly what you should be doing to get relief. Now, this is about you and I working one-on-one together to execute on this specific plan. So please only apply if you're actually serious about taking control over your relief strategy, getting my personal help, and actually going across the finish line with more freedom with your pain, back to your activities, loving on your family, being with your kids, your grandkids, whatever you think, whatever it is that you want to get back to doing. If you're serious about getting back to those things, just go to fitnessforbackpain.com/apply, grab a time for us to chat, and we'll jump on that call. The third thing I'm not a fan of when it comes to using the medical model physical therapy approach to chronic low back pain, and odds are it's why you're still in pain despite how many rounds of PT you've done, is it's instilling a dependency on the actual clinician. So the tech, the physical therapist, the PTA, whoever you're using, you're not really being taught how to think for yourself from a pain relief perspective. There are lots of different exercises and formulas that we tried to use in the pain relief space that fit a lot of different people, right? We can put together a very safe routine for you that will give you a starting point, but what happens is you've got to understand how to modify, change, and adapt to changing these things on your own. If you want to learn how to overcome years and years of chronic low back pain without having to pay a physical therapist for their 15 minutes of time, you've got to learn how to become your own healer. You have to become self-sufficient, and it doesn't require a 8-year degree as a DPT or any kind of doctorate in any kind of physical movement or exercise. You don't need that. What you need is to understand your body from a movement, from a mindset, and from a pain perspective. Learn what movements and exercises you should be doing, which ones you should not be doing, but also educate yourself around how to answer some of the most important questions that comes to beating chronic low back pain for good. And this doesn't require, again, a massive education. It just requires you to be informed and educated around what it takes to actually overcome chronic low back pain. And unfortunately, when you go into a PT clinic, we are dependent on them. That's what we've been trained to do. We trust these guys. They're smart because they are. They've been to training because they have been to training. So they understand the mechanical side of pain. So we walk into these clinics and we trust that what they're giving us is what's going to heal us of our chronic pain. So we keep going back and back and back. We don't ask questions. We don't learn why we're doing these things or what changes we need to make if these things aren't working. So we become dependent on them. But once they are no longer able to help us, we become hopeless. We become scatterbrained. We become without a strategy to follow to get out of pain. And that just further creates a fear cycle, an anxiety, a depressive state of, man, I'm doomed. The medical model can't fix me. This doctor can't fix me. These physical therapists can't. He was the best. She was the best in my area. Now what do I do? You have lost the ability to think for yourself. You are no longer driving your own car. You've given your keys to your brand new car to your neighbor, and they are driving it now, or to the doctor, the physical therapist, whoever you might be seeing. If you want to overcome years of chronic low back pain, you've got to find a program, a process, a roadmap that teaches you how to become self-sufficient. Now that requires a back and forth. You need a coach. You need someone to help you. PTs are good. Physical therapists, physiotherapists, these are great coaches. They're not bad coaches. But the problem is you need to be learning how to apply these things when you leave these people. What changes have to be made? What other areas of my life should I be focusing on? If the core training, if the hip stuff isn't working, what else should I be doing that doesn't involve movement or exercise? These are the things you have to educate and understand from a personal pain profile perspective. If you don't commit to being taught how to find this information out, you will always go from clinic to clinic to PT to PT, from chiro to chiro. You'll never feel like you're making progress because all you're doing is doing the same thing with a different person. So that's you. If you feel stuck, if you feel like PT is not working, this is making sense. Okay, like some of these points that you're making resonate with where I'm at. I feel like I keep going back to the same thing, expecting a different result. And what you said makes sense. There are other options out there that are not so much PT clinical related, that put you in the driver's seat, that educate you, not just becoming dependent on someone else on the internet, but actually gives you the tools to fix yourself and to always be able to fix yourself. There are options out there. And if you feel like you and I working together is your best next step, you can go to fitnessforbackpain.com/apply. That'll give us a chance for you and I to have a conversation around your unique pain situation, what you've done, what you're trying now, and map out the specific steps that you should be taking and whether or not the Strength and Pain Relief Accelerator program, which is my one-on-one coaching program, is a good fit for you. So again, this would be you and I working together. Please only apply if you are serious about getting help. If you really are wanting to step away from the medical model, take things into your own hand and heal as fast as possible, go to fitnessforbackpain.com/apply. That'll give us a chance to have that live conversation and see whether or not what I do can actually help. Thanks for watching, guys. God bless, and I'll see you on the next episode.